All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to this episode. So let me go ahead and tell you, this is my fourth time filming this video, and I have to say it's been a struggle to get this video done, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, and we're gonna get through this video this time for sure. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so as you can see, I have the items that I use every single day, and for me, it's on a minimalistic side. So I really don't use too much on a everyday basis. So this one is just going to cover the items that I use every single day or very regularly. So hopefully that gives you an idea of why these items are right here in front of me and what we're going to talk about. And also, these are the items that I use for this year, 2022. As we're getting ready to close out this year, Thanksgiving has just passed, so I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and also, just some time off to simply relax. I feel like this year just bypassed us, but in that I did have a chance to use some things that I feel like are very interesting to me in the different ways that I use my tech. I also try to expand my usability of these different items. So I'm excited to see how things move forward and how I incorporate the different learnings that I have for these different pieces of tech. Now I want to go ahead and mention to you that I'm going to start from the items that I use very early on in the year and just throughout the year in general. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. So for the first item here, I have my Fujifilm X-T4. Now, this has been my main camera that I've been using, and I just really have enjoyed this camera a lot. I consider this my dream camera early on in the year, and for me, it had the features that I was looking for, and I have been since I started out with the XS10. So I got the X-T4, and man, I definitely think it lived up to some of the features that I was looking forward to using, and then I also ran into some things that I just learned for myself. So I still have to do a long-term review for this one because I would like to share with you guys my experience with it and just some overall things that I learned about the X-T4. So again, this one has been my main camera that I used throughout this year because I wanted to really get into understanding the X-T4 and just the analog dials and why everyone loves the traditional Fuji camera setup versus the other style of camera setup, which is the PSAM dial setup, and that's where I'm coming from before Fuji. So again, I really enjoyed it as far as like it being more engaging. It is intuitive once you get it down. It may come off a little less intuitive in the beginning, but the more time I spent with it and engaged with the camera, I think it became more intuitive to use and fun. So like the SS10, it really provided that fun, just very interesting photography feeling that I was looking for. For me, it really encouraged me to learn more about photography, just the fundamentals, as well as learning the system even more, through and through. So I really appreciated the X-T4 a lot for that, and I just really enjoy using it as my everyday camera. So I've done a video on me unboxing it and everything, and I'll leave that video in the description for you guys. But I got this camera in January of 2022 this year, so it has been my main camera since literally the beginning of the year. However, I haven't been able to use it as much as I would like to throughout the year. It was used more on a regular basis, maybe less regular basis if I'm just completely honest, but it was with me nearly every single day just in case I wanted to capture a photo or do some vlogging, and it was just there ready for me. So it is definitely a part of my EDC tech, and I really enjoy carrying it around me. It's still a relatively light setup for me. It's paired with other lenses that I have, but with the 15 to 45 millimeter power zoom lens, it just makes it an even lighter setup. But looking forward to use this way more, and I'm able to have more time to do that. And it definitely piqued some interest into the other Fuji bodies, but I'll probably talk about that a little bit more in another video. So after talking about my camera, I have to go into the beast that's able to handle that data that comes out of my camera and just the images and the files along with other things, and that is my 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro. Now I configured this beast of a machine and I consider this to be a long-term investment. So I decided to go with a little bit higher spec MacBook Pro for the 16-inch version. I do like larger screen, and I also made a video for the unboxing of this one as well as some accessories. So again, those videos will be in the description if you guys want to check those out. But yeah, the M1 Max MacBook Pro is just really great. And again, I can't wait to share my experience with it so far. I got this one in May after ordering it in March, late March at that. So it actually took about maybe exactly a month and a half to receive it, and I've been using it ever since. I went ahead and got the silver, and you might be able to tell I have a transparent, clear case around it, and I decided to go with that because I wanted to keep it in pristine condition as much as possible. And yeah, so far it has held up, as you can probably tell. So I do plan on covering some key points in my user experience so far with it. I do have quite a few things to cover because having the configuration that I have, which that configuration I have listed on the screen, and it's just been some really good performance from it, as well as it has been some really interesting things that I learned as far as hardware and software. So really excited to cover those things that I look to be covering very soon. And as you can probably tell, I do have a external trackpad. Now I know you're probably saying, why do you have an external trackpad? Well, again, I wanted to keep my MacBook in pristine condition, and something that I just didn't care for using my 13-inch MacBook Air that I previously had was how dirty it got from the oils on my skin and using the built-in trackpad. So far I've enjoyed this setup, and I've been able to move the trackpad as I'm positioned to work. So it has been a little bit more flexible in my opinion from my usage. Expensive investment, but worth it for me. Hopefully it's not too disgusting for you guys, but as you can see, I'm using this every single time I'm using my MacBook, which leads me to talk about how often I'm using my MacBook, and that is every single day, like 24/7, more than that. I'm gonna be honest with you, it feels like at least 18 hours out the day. Like my MacBook is going a lot, like I put it to work a lot, and I'm just really enjoying what I throw at it and how it's able to sustain and not throttle from my usage. From using it for personal / work purposes, as well as creating content, looking at photos, watching YouTube videos, this thing is always going. And while I'm taking naps, when I can, I usually have a video rolling. So it is putting in some work even when I'm not using it. And that's just how much I'm using my MacBook. So this is gonna be my most used tech, along with another item that I'm getting ready to show you guys. It was a large investment, and I have to say worth it so far. And yeah, can't wait to share more about the usage of my MacBook in another video. It's definitely a part of my travel tech, which is gonna be another video that I'm gonna do. And I wanna share with you guys the updates that I made to my travel tech. All right, so next, after talking about my MacBook Pro, I have to talk about the external storage that I'm currently using. So I have two different types. We're gonna go ahead and start off with what's inside the case because I have multiple external drives in here. So in here I have my SSDs, and these are gonna vary from pre-built to the one that I built. And on the left I have the cables to use these SSDs. I've had these SSDs for various times. This is the RAV Power right here, and I've used this for a little over a couple of years now, and I use occasionally now. Next I have the SanDisk, and this is my most current pre-built SSD. This was my main go-to one before I built my custom SSDs. Definitely have been using this one for maybe about a year or so. So this one is a really good SSD if you're looking for a pre-built one. But getting into the one that I built myself, this is the Sabrent budget version, and the reason why it's considered budget because the enclosure is very budget friendly. Now I did an entire video of me building this one along with the last one that I'm going to show you. So this is a very good budget option if you're looking into building your own SSD. Been using this one for every single thing that I needed to store, and I have enjoyed this one, and it is really good and my main go-to. Next I have the well-known Lacy Rugged external hard drive. This one, along with a second Lacy drive that I have, the only 2 external hard drives that I have. So this is the 5 TB version here. Currently it's working pretty good and it seems to be living up to the hype, and they are a little on the expensive side. So pretty much it's one of those things, it seems like you get what you pay for. I decided to pick this one up because mainly, hence the name, it's a little bit more rugged, and with external hard drives, there are fragile because of the internal parts that move in them. So yeah, I wanted to make sure this was durable as well as, you know, being able to use it long term. And lastly, I have the Attribution, and this is the higher end SSD that I built. I haven't gotten a chance to use this one just yet, but I'm looking forward to using it because it has a higher transfer speed. It uses Thunderbolt USB 4. So that's going to cover my external drives, and now we're going to move on to the next item. So this one should not be a surprise at all. Of course, I have to, you know, include my iPhone 13 Pro Max. So I have used my iPhone 13 Pro Max for a little over a year now, and I have enjoyed my experience so far. This has been the experience that I've been looking since I came back to the iPhone coming from the Samsung Note 10 Plus. This has been a really great upgrade to me. It's just been working very well. So I'm going to quickly talk about some things that I have enjoyed so far and just the overall durability. So as you can tell, it looks pretty good. It's really upheld a lot, and I try to use it, you know, with the case on it and a case not on it, mainly because I enjoy this design so much, and the feel and just the premium design of this and the build quality is great. It's kind of hard not to want to use the iPhones. Definitely I would say the 12, 13s, and I'm sure 14s, because they look like to be the same quality, if not a little bit better. But didn't need to upgrade to the 14 Pro Max. Why? Because the 14 Pro Max just had maybe a bump up in just the features that overall just seemed like a small upgrade on the 14 Pro Max. So I'm really enjoying this one. I originally did not want the Sierra Blue, funny enough, because I love blue and I'm very specific about my blues, but it grew on me really quickly. Pretty much the day I got the phone and unboxed it, it just looked really gorgeous. Now, what I will say here is for this phone, it will collect fingerprints around the side, of course, around the shiny part, but overall it's very easy to clean. Now you might be able to see that I have some camera covers over my cameras. I just think it's really cool that I found some camera covers that pretty much match the exact same color of the phone. For the most part, the user experience has been really good, and it's just fit my overall needs currently at this time. So of course, again, this is my everyday use tech, just like my MacBook, and I am using this a lot, which is unusual for me because I generally don't use my phone that much, but I have definitely increased my usage of using my phone. So I am going to talk about how I got back into the iOS system and just probably the Apple ecosystem in general. All right, so y'all know we got to talk about the accessories really quick, and currently I'm using the Apple leather black case. This is just, of course, a expensive Apple case that I picked up, but it has been really nice. Apple has a way of, you know, adding those little things that you probably would want to have. Still arguably overpriced, but it is nice, and so far it has been really good since the day I picked this one up. So with that being said, you know, I got to talk about the MagSafe wallet, and again, this is the Apple version of the MagSafe wallet, and I have used third-party MagSafe wallets as well. Those are pretty much just as good. The Apple version may have a slightly stronger magnet, and sometimes it just feels like it's about the same. I enjoy using the Apple version as pretty much my main go-to MagSafe wallet, and also with the Find My support feature in this one, it just makes using it over others kind of a no-brainer if it's within your budget. So that feature alone is a selling feature to me, and I have enjoyed it a lot. Again, with the animations and that just noise, just love that sound. So again, it should be no surprise for me to talk about another Apple product, and these are my AirPods Pro. Now, I have mentioned these in so many other videos, so some of you who've watched my other videos probably seen these coming. They definitely are more of a regular used item. Once I changed out my ear tips on these, they were just like much better fitting in my ear, and I just haven't had any issues with them falling out of my ear. So these have been working very well. I enjoyed these. these, and these are the first generation. I feel like the first generation is working well enough for me. There's some things that I would like to see for the third generation AirPods Pro. I'll probably talk about that in another video when I'm using my MacBook or iPhone. It's just the switchability has been so great. So I carry these with me when I'm going to be out for a decent length of time, and I know I'm going to want to have my hands free for sure. Overall, they just work very well with my setup. So I'm going to quickly talk about my charging accessories here. You know, with the tech that I just covered, you probably might want to know what I'm using to charge them up with, and it's pretty simple, you know, nothing crazy. I'm just using the basics and first party accessories for a majority of my everyday charging, with the exception of my camera, which I want to talk about in a second. So for my iPhone, of course, I'm using the Lightning to USB-C cable here, paired with the Anker 20-watt power adapter. Now this one I have used since I got my phone, and yeah, so far so good. I typically want to have one that I just leave at home and it's just ready to go, and this is that setup. Next, I have my MacBook Pro charging setup, and this is the 140-watt power adapter that comes with my MacBook. Now I'm using that one because these power adapters are really expensive. I bought a second MagSafe 3 cable, so I have some other charging cables that I travel with, and they include the MagSafe charging that I use. I will use MagSafe charging around the house as well. And for, of course, my ST4, I'm using a USB-C cable for that. And that's pretty much gonna be the charging accessories that I'm using. All right, you guys, so that's pretty much gonna wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys appreciate the dedication of me filming this 4 times. And so this one has turned out way better than the other ones. I just didn't want to put that content out. If I wasn't feeling it, then y'all probably not going to be feeling it, and I want to make sure I'm putting out something that I personally would like to watch as well, and for me that's really important. With that, you guys already know the drill. Hopefully you consider subscribing as well as giving the video a thumbs up. If you know anyone that's interested in these types of videos, hopefully you share the video as well. It's always nice to get a idea of someone's, you know, everyday tech and what people are using, just to see how it works for them. I wanted to do more of a realistic, you know, coverage of what I use. I do have some other items that I use, but I feel like they fit in a different category. I'll probably cover those in another video. But I do have a updated travel tech that I carry with me, and that one probably is gonna have a little bit more items in it for sure, and it's gonna be really cool to share those items with you guys as well. But you guys already know, let me know what you've been using, you know, what's a part of your everyday setup for tech. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.